Hello to everyone. My name is Federico Turkheimer. The paper aims to clarify a concept, the one of emergence. The property of a system is generally understood as emergent if not immediately causally reducible to the properties of the elements of the system itself. So the use of emergence has obviously surfaced in modern complex theory that aims to explain how apparently complex behaviors are born out of populations of very simple agents. So you can think about ant colonies, bird flocks, or weather elements. Let's take ants as an example. They are one of the most sophisticated species on the planet and, number-wise, one of the most evolutionarily successful, but not individually. So you put 10 or 100 ants together on a surface and they will probably run around aimlessly and die of exhaustion. But a group of, say, 500,000 ants will likely demonstrate sophisticated behavior. So this kind of intelligent behavior that far exceeds the ability of the single unit is said to be emergent. It's pretty obvious that emergence plays an important role in brain sciences, particularly for those neuroscientists that wish to understand how the mind is generated by a seemingly uninspiring piece of tissue like the brain. We are experimentalists, but for once, this paper did not present any new data. And in fact, it did not present any data at all. Instead, we looked at the philosophical literature and particularly to the quite rich bibliography on the logic of scientific inference and the role of emergence in the modeling of physical phenomena. In neurosciences, a number of models use emergence as a key founding concept. In the paper, we demonstrated a few of them. Emergence can be a useful concept if it's used appropriately. Philosophers distinguish something called weak emergence from the one of strong emergence. In weak emergence, the properties of a complex system cannot be reduced to its components, but yet they can be computed. When studying weakly emergent systems, one can start from some initial conditions and, say, model the interaction between the elements of the system, say birds or ants or neurons, and let the computer do its job. This may have to be repeated for a large enough number of initial conditions. In the end, one ends up with a probabilistic description of the system's behavior. But in strongly emergent systems, instead, these systems are those where allegedly no reduction or computation can describe the system behavior. So the general explanation for these systems is that the whole takes somehow control of the parts, so no prediction of the whole can be made from its components. Well, the philosophic literature is very clear. Strong emergence has illegitimate metaphysics. In other words, saying that a system is strongly emergent is not a scientifically viable statement. It does not explain anything. Hence, strongly emergent models of brain function need to be rethought. I think that the main contribution of the paper is to establish a strict logical test for the validity of models of brain function. If your model is strongly emergent, which means that you cannot derive a mechanistic causation from neurobiology, then it's not valid. There may be reasons why this is the case. Not all of them are unsurmountable. For example, you may need more experimental work. If not, then there is no merit in spending time on this hypothesis and the field can move on.